Will we find out what's in the Pomni room? Will it be a new character? Will Jax be abstracted? Who might be back in the new episode? These and many other things that Gooseworx have shown us will be covered in this video, as all of these leaks or spoilers, whichever you prefer, are directly related to the second episode of the amazing Digital Circus. Hello everyone. I think many of you have already guessed that the new episode is coming very soon, so it's time to go through absolutely all the spoilers that our favorite Gooseworx and the Glitch channel team have given us. Let's not delay and get to our amazing digital video. First of all, I would like to tell you about the new character. In the previous video, we said that there will be at least one episode where we will be introduced to a new character, and Gooseworx themselves said that each episode will tell the story of a different character, and let us know that in the next episode we will see someone who has not been shown to us yet. I have a few options as to who that might be. One of the most likely options is the all-too-familiar Queenie, who is also the ex-girlfriend or wife of the very familiar Digital Circus Kinger. She is the main contender for this role, at least because a huge fanbase has already formed around this non-existent character and is very much looking forward to her debut in the Digital Circus. She may be shown as a main character, but I have little faith in that. But as a supporting character in an episode dedicated to Kinger's life story, she may very well be. We can show their love story, we can find out where she is now, and if something terrible happened to her, we will be told the reasons that led to that tragedy. And agree that deep down, each of us wants to know not only about her, but also the reasons for such a crazy mental state in Kinger, because he was definitely an adequate character once. And if we don't see Queenie, there's another option that seems equally likely to me, and that's Gummy Elephant. He's definitely not going to be the main character, and he's not going to be human in general. Gummy Elephant, like GLs Queen, will be presented to us as an artificial intelligence created by Kane for some adventure. In support of this character is Gooseworx itself, which in one of its posts asked the audience if they know how to recreate realistic movements of Gummy when creating 3D animation. Well, what if they show us both Queenie and Gummy Elephant in one episode? Imagine what an epic combo we will get in that case. There is also a chance to see Gooby, the sister of the famous Jax, in the new episode. But unlike her brother, Gooby will remind us of Regatha, as her soul is as kind and open as a ragdoll. But the only way to see them is if the next episode tells Jax's story, and maybe Gooby will be the one to come to her brother's aid and try to set him on the right path and convince him that being so rude and insolent is not the right thing to do in the situation they all find themselves in. I think Gooby will be able to make friends with Pomni and Regatha, and then this trio will have a great chance to save not only themselves, but all the other characters trapped in this digital hell. In the previous spoiler, I mentioned Jax, and it is to him that the next spoiler will be dedicated. There is a possibility that the new episode will tell us more about Jax and his fate, but his actions will lead him to the worst end of his life in the Digital Circus. Remember how I told you that Jax's awesomeness is just an illusion, and he's actually a pretty closed-minded character, and all of his actions are just proof to himself that he is something of himself, and all of his actions bring him no joy, only more heartache. And even if Gooby returns to his life, it will be too late. This theory is confirmed by this art, where we can clearly see our rabbit trying to dismantle a being. Perhaps this is the first stage of his transformation into an abstracted monster, but it's not certain. The next leak we have is the teaser that we all know about. But with that, many of you have no idea what this leak is actually hiding. First of all, we see Pomni sleeping in her room. We'll come back to Pomni, but let's talk about the rest first. Pomni's room is a complete reflection of her mistress, as it is even made in exactly the same colors as the jester's costume. This means that the second episode will definitely introduce us to this place, and I also have a theory that the room is a reflection of the mental state of its owner. For example, Kaufmo's room looks like the ward of a mental hospital where the craziest man in the world lived. But are you sure that all these inscriptions and pictures were drawn by Kaufmo himself? What if the Digital Circus knows about all the experiences and thoughts of each of the characters, and gives us an idea of what is going on in his head through his room? So we can understand that Pomni is fine for now, but even during the second episode, her room might change its appearance as her condition worsens. This teaser also gives us a clear understanding that Kane can indeed observe all the characters. Let's break down the whole timeline. First, we saw those funny watches in the scene where they signaled Kane about someone breaking into the void. Then we were shown a link that led to a strange website with the only function to watch a very mysterious trailer. And now on the same website, we are shown a sleeping Pomni, which is not only being watched by us, but also by Kane. Because after the situation with the Void, he was suspicious of the newcomer in the Digital Circus. And as I promised, it's time to talk about Pomni. The pilot episode made us realize that we are Pomni, in the sense that it is a reflection of our emotions that we feel while watching it. So this teaser is a reflection of us, as if to suggest that while we are asleep waiting for the new episode, but since we can already see the light in the room, it means that it's morning and it's time to wake up. And that, in turn, is a direct reference to the fact that we are all about to wake up and watch the new episode of the amazing Digital Circus. The following leak is hard to even call a leak. I'm talking about a Christmas post from the Glitch channel team. We don't care about the post because it's all about the picture. It's a picture of everyone giving each other presents. Zooble gave Gangle a comedy mask that Jax broke in the pilot episode, and that gift made Gangle smile. Or Regatha gave a soft pillow to Kinger because we all remember how Gloinks broke his untouchable pillow fortress. And now our chess piece has a base for a new fortress. Kane also tried to give Pomni a gift, but judging by her expression, she didn't really like the gift. She didn't even like the person who gave it to her. And Jax, in his own way, decided to make a funny gift and decided to give Regatha a centipede. And as we know, she's very afraid of them. Well, and the decoration of all this holiday is turned into a monster Kaufmo as a Christmas tree. We noticed how they all give each other presents, so maybe we should get one too. And a more joyful gift for us would be a new episode. And I'm 100% sure that this picture was made on purpose to let us know that there will be a new episode very soon. Another very interesting spoiler is the complete tent design of the amazing Digital Circus. We've seen different parts of the circus, but we've never been shown the entire structure. At first glance, the entire Digital Circus may appear to be just two giant rooms, one of which is a common room, and the second of which contains a corridor with doors to other characters' rooms. But if you take a closer look at the concept, you can easily see that the Digital Circus consists of 5 floors. On the concept, we can see the castle, near which some events of the pilot episode took place. But if it was emphasized so much, then most likely in the next episodes we will be able to see it from the inside, and maybe it will also play an important role in some episode. I think it will probably be some new Kane adventure of the fun horror variety. For example, he will kidnap Regatha and lock him up in one of the castle rooms. And the rest of the characters will have to solve puzzles, face evil dummies and so on to find the key and free the kindest and nicest character. We were also shown some flying figures and a bubble tower, but I think they're just decoration and unlikely to be really interesting for us in the future. Remember how I said that you can find Pomni in this concept, so its location is not random either. I am 100% sure that this location is the place where our characters live, the so-called dormitory. A separate mystery of this concept are the strange shaded rooms that we don't even know the purpose of, but most likely their mystery will be revealed in the new episodes. And just so you know, there is a concept of the first floor with a view from above. But what's really interesting in this concept are the balconies. On the one hand, in a circus, they should be for the audience, and it's logical and understandable. But the amazing Digital Circus is a show or a game, so what are the balconies for? Maybe to create a real circus atmosphere, but what if someone from the real world can come into the Digital Circus and watch everything that happens from above, unnoticed by our characters? Maybe it is a circle of very rich people who financed this project, or ordinary gamers who put on a headset and joined the audience. Maybe some of our characters once watched all of this, but simply do not remember it or have erased the memory from their minds. Will GLs Queen be back? I don't know why we were shown this, but there is a possibility that this character, even though she is an NPC, will appear in the next episode in some kind of mission from Kane. And in that case, the second episode will be on a scale that none of us ever dreamed of. Just remember the beginning of this video where I said that Queenie and Gummy Elephant might appear in the next episode, and now the mysterious Queenie will be added to their company. Right away we see that she has 4 mouths. The question is why? The answer is, I don't know. But one head is the main head because it can talk and eat, and the second head is only created to give birth to new Gloinks. In this scene, we see garbage and various objects turning into these Gloinks. Actually, it will be a vicious circle, because garbage turns into Gloinks. Gloinks bring their queen new garbage, and she eats it and creates new Gloinks. Well, the rest of the mouths don't make any sense and are just made for fun. Well, and a colorful ending is a clarification from the authors themselves that the GLs Queen resembles a garbage bag full of solid objects, which is generally true. I want to be honest with you that these are just some of the spoilers and leaks that are out there. In fact, there are many more, but I'll save them for future videos. I want to wish everyone success and good luck, and bye-bye.